How y'all doing out there in video land? This is Stiletto coming at you from the Wild Wild West. What we got going on right now? I'm curious to find out if I can remove the rest of this finish with Wink. This is electric discharge plating that they use on, that Cold Steel uses on their 7075 aluminum Cold Steel Ti-Lites. This was my first Cold Steel Ti-Lite. Totally polished the blade because it got damaged several times. I carried this one for a lot of years. It was my prospect knife when I was in the club. But I want to take this apart and see if I can redo this handle and I want to put these handles on a different knife. I want to put them on my serrated, my serrated Chris Ti-Lite. All right, people. All right. I know I got another set that's on my other Ti-Lite, my other Chris Ti-Lite, but it's not serrated, the Nancy Thompson one, but I want to leave that one just the way it is. I don't want to change it at all. All right. T10 to the rescue. All right. Now we need a T6. Hope everybody's doing good out there. Today is Saturday, July 26th, I believe. Almost the end of July. Another month, it'll be football season. That's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, I'm a 49er fan. Win or lose, I always support my team. I'm not one of those fans that only likes my team when they win. I have friends like that. They always root for teams that win all the time. All right. Oh, there it is. I was going to say, where's the other washers at? Okay. It'd be really cool if the Wink works on this. Not a guarantee though, people, that, you know, I'm trying this for the first time with you, so I don't know if this works or not yet. I saw on YouTube where they're using Wink to remove anodizing off aluminum, but this is not anodizing. This is electric discharge plating. Is a little bit different. So I'm not sure if the Wink is going to actually work on this or not. One thing I can tell you is that this finish is a super hard finish to remove. And so if the Wink does remove it, oh man, that's awesome. And it's awesome for a lot of you guys have been wanting to, that ask me about how I make polished scales for my Ti-Lites. See, now you guys can see what they look like. That's all been wet sanded. That's wet sanding that you see there. Normally they'd be all black. All right, so let's go ahead and put them in here. And we'll cover them with some Wink. Now let's see if this stuff works. I should put on some gloves. Let me hit the pause real quick, people. I'm going to go get some gloves. All right, let's put on these gloves. Working with these chemicals, that we got to take care of my skin. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. Using an old toothbrush. I don't know if this is going to work, people. Doesn't really look like it's doing a whole lot. Let's add a little bit more wing. All right, that's it for that bottle of wing. That's my last of that wing. I can see it doing some fizzing, but I don't see the black finish getting removed. Yeah, this electric discharge plating, I don't think it's coming off, people. It's worth a try, though. I'm going to let it sit in here. You know what? I'm going to hit the pause. I'm going to let it sit for a little bit. And we'll come back to it, and we'll see what it looks like. Well, I'm going to let you all know where I'm at. It's been a while now. It's been a while now since I paused. But I went ahead. These are the aluminum, 7075 aluminum. Ti-Lite 6 scales. There's still some little spots right here that I didn't get off. And I'm not going to worry about like inside of here. I sort of like the way that the black, because the chemical didn't take off the stuff. I had to sand it, people. I had to sand it. Went and got some 220 grit wet sanding paper and wet sanded it off. Wet sanded, as much of this stuff off as I can get. And then I went ahead and I put in the wink again. And this is the result. Actually, the finish of this feels really nice. And I can't even see the grind lines from the 220 grit wet sanding paper. But I was hoping that it would take off like the little bit that was left. But it really didn't. This EDP plating that they use on these scales, people, is like super tough. It is like super tough. But anyway, I've gotten it to a point where I can start, wet sanding it and getting it, polished. So that's what I'm going to do. It won't be as nice as this one came out. This was the first time I did one. But this was back when they had paint removers in my area that actually removed everything. And the stuff that I used to use would actually like really take off stuff really good. And the same brand now, it doesn't remove it as well because they had to alter their, I think the recipe or whatever you call it, in order to meet our codes. I don't know if it's countrywide or statewide, but it's not as strong as it used to be. But the way it used to be is that you let this stuff sit on it for like about half an hour, and it would take it all the way off. But now, I did it with these before with the new stuff, and it didn't, and it just like left like it really didn't hardly do anything, and I had to just wet sand it down to the point where I just got tired of wet sanding. But I was using higher grit sandpaper too. I was using like a 400 and 600 grit sandpaper, and this I used 220 people because I lost my patience. Now, I normally don't use 220 grit sandpaper to do too much sanding. But I did sand on flat surfaces and everything like that, so everything should be okay. But now I can go ahead and finish wet sanding it, the way I would normally do it with like 400, 600, 800, all the way up to 3000 grit, and then I'll buff it all out with all the buffing compounds with my tabletop buffer. And hopefully I'll get a finish like this. But it's going to have black on the inside. This one doesn't have black on the inside because the finish was totally removed on these. So there was like no finish at all left. Whereas this one is going to still have the black on the inside. Because I won't be able to polish that. I'm not even going to try to polish that on the inside. Now, I sort of like the way the black looks. But anyway, people, this is going to be part 1. Part 2 will be coming up after I get done sanding it and everything. We'll put it back together. Peace, Stiletto.